What's up, Dolphin fans? Welcome back into the Draft Time podcast, as well as the Dolphins YouTube channel, for another chat with a free agent signing from the 2025 class, new Dolphins offensive lineman Larry Borom. Larry, welcome in, man. How's South Florida treating you so far?
Oh, it's great. Weather's amazing. Place is amazing.
You got the shorts on, right? A little different than Detroit and Chicago.
Yep.
From Detroit, played his ball in Chicago as well. And yeah, you got some nice weather. You going to go to the beach anytime soon, maybe?
A little bit today.
Yeah, a little bit. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. So I had a chance to meet you earlier in the cafeteria before we had the interview here. Not a bad little setup over there for some food, huh?
Oh, no, it's great. It's amazing.
What'd you have for breakfast?
Some eggs, potatoes, and the sausage.
Yeah, I mean, it's every day. There's always elite food over there, so we enjoy that quite a lot. So you began your career in Missouri as a guard, right? Your first start was a guard?
Yeah.
And then you kicked out the tackle a little bit. And then you do the same thing in the pros. You play tackle, play some guard. All of this question is designed to basically ask you, what's the value in your experience of having so much experience at different positions across the offensive line?
I feel like the more you can do is everything in this league. You got to be able to, one, not just be one-dimensional and be able to know the whole offense as a whole from every position, to be able to be flexible and go in, and if you're called upon at left guard, right guard, tackle, whatever, like you got to be able to do that. There's a lot of value in that.
That seems to be like almost uniform in college football and the pros nowadays. Like guys cross-train, right? Play tackle, guard center, because it is thought of as like a collective unit more than just one guy doing a job. Like you're thinking about all five. Is that kind of the idea behind that?
Yeah. And I think it makes it easier to learn. You know what I mean? If you know and understand what everyone's supposed to do, then you have a better understanding of the whole picture.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So you come down here and watching your tape, man, like your foot quickness for a guy your size is like, whoa, it jumps off the tape. And when I'm watching you, I'm thinking like that fits what we do pretty well. We run off the football here on the offensive line. Right. How excited are you to play in this scheme, and how do you think it suits your skill set?
I think I'm very excited, and I think it suits me very well. Just the way you guys, everything is done here as far as the play call and the offensive schemes, everything is great.
So last year I asked Teron Armstead this question in training camp about, because he had played in New Orleans for so long that he came here and got to play in this, the Shanahan tree system that is I guess dubbed. And I asked him, like, what do you love about playing tackle in this offense? And he said they really do a good job of making the offensive linemen feel like playmakers. Do you kind of feel like that's kind of how this offense works? They make your tackles and your guards can be playmakers and go out and make the big play that kind of springs the touchdown?
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a lot into it that allows us to be that playmaker, and a lot of,
What do you think about the skill pieces that we have down here with obviously Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, just brought Nick Westbrook-Akina in, Jonnu Smith, Jalen Wright, like Malik Washington. When you think about all those guys that can put the ball in the paint, like how excited you get about that?
Oh, I'm very excited. Yeah. It's dope. Those guys are speedsters. They can get up and down the field. It's dope.
Do you, like, when you're playing in the league, I know like you're so like busy with your game planning and your meetings and stuff for that week, but do you like catch other things going on? Like, did you see the Dolphins over the years? Like, man, that offense is clicking.
Yeah, I'm one that I actually enjoy watching football still. Like even during the season, just seeing how other teams do a lot of things. Yeah, this team has always been I'm like, man, that's nice.
That's legit. Yeah, it's been fun to watch the last couple of years, especially 2 years ago when we were just like scoring 35 points every game. It seemed like. So you come down to this offense, and you played again in Missouri, played for the Chicago Bears. Now you're here in Miami, and we've kind of seen this trend in the NFL over the last few years, where like maybe for offensive linemen it takes a little bit longer to develop and become like the best versions of themselves. Like we had Austin Jackson had like a big breakout year in his third season, a very young offensive lineman in the first round for us. Do you think that that's kind of a trend in the league in terms of how guys develop? Because I was talking to James Daniels about this before you came in here, about how like in college it's coached more like just get to the line of scrimmage and get to the next snap because we're trying to go fast, right? Do you think there's a difference in how that is played compared to the pros, and how do you think that impacts like players like yourself, for instance, and your ability to develop your game as a pro?
Yeah, I think as a pro it's a lot more, like you said, a lot more development into it. And in college it was just get to the line, next play, everything gets so fast, but in the pros, it's a lot more time to really focus on what you need to do individually. And I think development, especially for me, like, I feel like I'm a younger player still, 25. I feel like my best ball is ahead of me. Yeah. So I think that's definitely a good trend.
And reading some of your background on some stories on ChicagoBears.com and stuff, they're talking about like kind of where your drive comes from and you don't get complacent, and you like got to the league and it's like, okay, now it's time to go to work, right? Like what are some things you do to make sure that you're always like striving to get better and not being complacent?
Just my work ethic, just as a whole, stemming from when I was younger, from my mom. She worked 7 days. She was a waitress, just the whole nine. Like, just seeing her do that really instilled in me you're not set anywhere in life, whether it's football, just in life in general. So that's really where I get that from.
So I assume that when you got drafted, you probably were with mom.
Yeah, I was back home. Yeah.
Okay, and then when you got the contract for the Dolphins, did you was she probably your first call? I'm guessing.
Yeah. She
What
was.
that like?
She was very excited. We've been through a lot of things these past couple of years, and she was ecstatic.
So you played high school football, obviously, but also the hardwood too, right? Basketball
I
player
played
back in Detroit, right? So tell me about how your basketball experience helps you on the football field.
Everything, just with footwork, being able to just move in general. That all comes from basketball. But I didn't start playing football until my high school year, my freshman year of high school.
Okay, so yeah, because basketball, like playing defense, right? It's like man, you hoop, and on the offensive line, it's like man, you quarterback, right? Like same idea, same concept. So I'm fascinated by your background, man, because like at Missouri, you majored in pre-engineering.
Yeah.
You began to,
I
right?
began in pre-engineering, then I went into business, and then finished with sports management.
Okay, but I mean that's like, that is no small task. Like I had a buddy that was an engineering major at Washington State, go Cougs, and I'm like, he was just so much smarter than me. Like everything that he did was like he was just a whiz with numbers and stuff. And I think about that and like how we think about quarterbacks as having to be smart, but you talk about like the collective unit of the offensive line these days, and like you have to be pretty smart to know landmarks and like how you're going to pass off blocks. Like how do you think being an intelligent person helps an offensive lineman?
That's everything. Half the battle is getting to the line of scrimmage and knowing what you're looking at, knowing the play call, knowing what you have to do, and using the 5 brains as one. So that's everything.
How do you feel your processing as an offensive lineman has grown from your rookie year to now?
Oh, tremendously. Just,
look on your face says it all.
Yeah, just tremendously. Just taking in all my rookie year, I had JP in the room, Jason Peters, and that was a blessing. He taught me a lot. And being able to get to the line and think like, okay, play call, what I need to do, and just little things at the line to really help me build from there.
Yeah, very cool. So watching a lot of the tape of the guys we brought in, including yourself and James Daniels, like toughness seems to be a bit of a theme behind those guys. When you think about toughness on a football field, like what does that mean to you?
Toughness can mean a lot of different things. It can mean the traditional, like just the physical part of it, but I think it's also like the effort part behind it. Like I think effort falls into toughness, and because you have to want to put in that effort and that grind to it. I think that's a big part of it.
Okay, so football obviously comes first at all times, but you're down here in South Florida, gonna get some time off here coming up.
Right.
What's the first thing that you can't wait to go do as a new South Florida resident?
Beach and golf.
Beach and golf. So we talked about golf earlier. I knew it was gonna come up. You just got into it, right?
Yeah. Been into it for like the past like 7 months or so,
Okay.
like a year.
How's it going?
Not good, but it's just the vibe. It's the vibe. So
Yeah, for sure.
have some good holes, have some bad ones.
Yeah, I mean, you can get out there year round down here, so you can really sharpen up the game in the off season, man.
Yeah.
Larry Borom, New Dolphins offensive lineman. Appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good stuff.